Shine, can you repeat because I forgot to record it. Shine, yes. With video on, everyone. When you are speaking, keep your video on. When you are speaking only, okay. So Shine, you can continue with the introduction.
So shall I start or good morning everyone. My name is Shine Pandit and my student ID is 19436742.
Hello everyone, my name is Anisa Tapaga and my student ID is 19436735.
My name is Parisha Tuladar and my UN ID is 19436733.
I am Shirva Tuladar and my UNID is 19436740.
My name is Samiksha Tamang and my UNID is 19436739.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vikas Khadka and my UNID is 19436737.
My name is Saurav Khan and my UNID is 19436746.
So getting started with the topic of developing winning strategies where we compare the bigger versus the smaller ones. The origin of business has its own history which goes 2 centuries back. According to a book from the origin of business, money and markets written in the year 2011 by Keith Roberts, states that the origin of business actually dates to more than 5,000 years ago during the Middle East. However, the concept of profit began from the urban civilization of Mesopotamia. Looking back at some of the earliest company started was in Japan, a sauna company which still runs up today. The people and business has no doubt come a long way, and the economy of world has rapidly risen, especially after the World War II. The Industrial Revolution has also risen alongside from its early days, which started in 18th century from Britain and has spread nationwide. Moving forward in time, the revolution of business has started to shape and unfold in completely unique ways. According to an article written by James Manica and Monica Tin in the year 2020 from McKinsey, states that they named this era as a time and opportunity for business. As contemporary companies face radically changed environment, technology has profound impact on business and the economy. In the past 30 years, for example, internet has facilitated global connection between nearly everybody and nearly everything. Alongside this, technology wave has come rising global prosperity, which has lifted 1 billion people out of the extreme poverty over past 30 years. The same goes for the digitization, as research also suggests that digitization hasn't even nearly run its course yet. Even in advanced economies in US and Europe, artificial intelligence, the biological revolution, and many other world-shaping innovations are still taking place and growing.
Now I'd like to talk starting by talking that how VUCA world has created opportunities to SMEs and startups. The VUCA world has created transformational opportunities for SMEs and startups to align internal processes with the rapidly changing external environments, a process that will instill resilience and sustainability. Fighting COVID-19 is now the world's top necessity and therefore its number one accelerator of innovation. Ironically, the pandemic has created the right time and environment for startups, SMEs to reframe their thinking and reimagine their operations by learning new skills, competencies, and new ways of leading and operating. Oxford Economic Survey 2013 pointed out that technology and innovation as strategic priorities for SME growth and big data direct distribution is considered as one of the key drivers of it. Being able to analyze and predict market and customer behavior with big data is a new paradigm shift for SMEs. Disruptive innovations often arise as the advancement of science and technology with evolving markets to create previously unimagined opportunities. As stated by Billiam 2019, SMEs has ability to grow faster than large corporations. In a VUCA world, SME has opportunity to create and store more transactional data in digital form, collect an accurate and detailed performance information on everything from product inventories to sick days, and therefore expose variability and boost performance. Big data allows ever narrower segmentation of customers and therefore much more precisely tailored products or services. In a VUCA world, big data has enabled SMEs and startups to notice new things about their system by analyzing data and pointing out correlations, risks, opportunities like improvements of productivity, efficiency, new business creation, financial control, and innovation that they couldn't notice before. Because of that, it has the potential to improve decision support systems. It also can help SMEs and startups stimulate different scenario, so it can improve existing product service, or it can help SMEs to develop new ones. So the implementation and the use of big data may very well become the next stage of innovation in startups and SMEs alike for higher level of strategic management and increase companies' position in the competitive environment by generating future opportunities.
As my friend talk about how VUCA world can create opportunities for SMEs and startup, I'd like to add on her point. I would like to talk about some of the winning strategy in the VUCA world, which would help both small as well as big companies to sustain in the competing market. Marketing strategy decisions against a shifting backdrop is one of the key challenges facing all kind of organization today. The pace of technological change is relentless, and the pressure to innovate and keep one step ahead of the competition is intense. In such an unpredictable and fast-moving environment, the idea of the 10-year plan feels like an alien concept. Seen at 2020 in Journal of Technological Management for Growing Economists stated that according to the authors, by leveraging a structured and integrated approach to strategy development and execution, executive tasks with strategic decision making are better able to navigate with waters of today's VUCA world. There are many tools and techniques small enterprises as well as big companies can call to support strategy development. By over recent year, interest has been going to three horizon model, network marketing and sponsorship and advertisement. It's a tool that provides organization with a pathway through complexity and ambiguity and helps them solve seemingly intraceable problems. With a solid strategy in place, small organizations and big companies can capitalize on a blueprint for a successful future with research by McKinsey and Company over a 15-year period showing that organizations with a long-term strategy manage to outperform their peers on a range of key fundamentals, generating 47% of total revenue and 81% higher average company's economic profit.
Managing strategic decisions against the VUCA world is one of the key challenges that is faced by the organization today. New business models are emerging and disrupting markets almost every night. In such an unpredictable and fast-moving VUCA world, the long-term plans that the business have made seems to go out of the window as new and fresh challenges arise. The businesses are expected to maintain operational excellence while at the same time keeping an eye on the future. It is not possible to know the detail of what the future will look like, but organizations must be planning for it. They need to develop what is known as future consciousness and awareness of future potential in present moment. The three horizon model developed by McKinsey and Company is a growth strategy framework that can help businesses think about the future of the company. The tool helps the businesses manage and growth and provides them with a pathway through complexity and ambiguity. In the first horizon, organizations are recognizing that as the world changes around them, businesses as usual no longer fit for the purpose and they need to consider new ways of doing things. In the second horizon, new approaches are beginning to emerge, and leaders are having to make difficult decisions whether to protect their core business or invest in new and innovative approaches to be put into practice, and the new business as usual is being established. In the third horizon, radical changes are happening, innovations are starting to be put into practice, and the new business as usual is becoming established. Basically, Horizon 1 provides continuous innovation to a company's existing business model. Horizon 2 extends a company's existing business model and core capabilities to new customer and markets. And Horizon 3 is the creation of new capabilities and new business to take advantage to counter disruption. Each horizon requires different focus management tools and goals. For example, some organizations define Horizon 1 as new features that could be delivered in short term of 3 to 12 months, Horizon 2 as business model extension that will be ready 24 to 36 months out, and Horizon 3 as creating new disrupting products or business models 26 to 72 months out.
Talking more about the horizon, the three horizon framework provides a structure for companies to assess potential opportunities for growth without neglecting performance in the present. The framework continues to be useful, especially in uncertain times. The immediacy of concerns are around Horizon 1 business can easily overwhelm other efforts important to the future of a company. Horizon 1 represents those core business most readily identified with the company name and those that provide the greatest profits and cash flow. Horizon 2 encompasses emerging opportunities, including rising entrepreneurial ventures likely to generate substantial profits in the future, but that could require considerable investment. Horizon 3 contains ideas for the profitable growth down the road, for instance, small ventures such as research projects, pilot programs, or minority stakes in new business. we can For example, we can easily see all three horizon apply in a company like Uber. In Horizon 1, it is grappling with challenges to its employment practices, and from traditional taxi firms and license authorities, it is tweaking its pricing model in response to conditions on the ground. In Horizon 2, it continues to expand into new cities and to develop new services. In Horizon 3, it is investing heavily in the development of autonomous vehicles. These will undoubtedly uh, change the very nature of car ownership and personal transportation. To succeed as a business, it must operate successfully across all three horizons at the same time.
I would somehow disagree with what my friend said, as this strategy would put both the SMEs and big company in total risk, as it needs a lot of time and resources for the delivery of each horizon. And after developing three horizons, what if the trend and scenario is totally changed? Also, some of the SMEs might not be able to deliver three of the horizons each and every time in rapidly changing VUCA world. However, in the 21st century, the three horizon model has a fatal flaw that could put companies out of business and uh, government agency behind their adversaries. While traditional analysis suggests that Horizon 3 disruptive innovation take years to develop in today's world, this is no longer the case. The three horizons are not bound by time. Each horizon requires different focus, different management, different time, different tool, and different goals. McKinsey suggested that to remain competitive in the long run, allocates its researches and development dollars and resources across all three horizons. And here's the big idea. In the past, we assigned relative delivery time to each of the horizons. For example, some organizations define Horizon 1 as new features that could be delivered in 3 to 12 months, Horizon 2 as business model extension 2 to 3 years that could be delivered in 2 to 3 years, and Horizon 3 as creating new disruptive product business model that could be delivered about 3 to 6 years. This time-based definition made sense in 20th century when new disruptive idea took years to research, engineer, and deliver. That's no longer true in 21st century, and it's a total risk. Talking about SMEs and big company in comparison to Three Horizon, quicker decision making plays a vital role in quicker delivery of Three Horizons. In SMEs has an advantage on decision making as it normally falls on a person or a small group. This will make them much more by making resolution that than large companies. SMEs might, although the SMEs might have advantage on decision making, but indeed they lack strong financial, technological, and human resource, which puts them downside.
One of the example of the company who adopted three horizon strategy is Amazon. Amazon was a small company when it started its business, and now if there is a company that has developed a successful expansion strategy over time, that is Amazon. At first, Amazon started its business as a simple book e-commerce site, that is all. But as the year went by, diversified the more diversified their business become, the more profitable and successful they had. In the first horizon, when Amazon only sold books, the main goal of Amazon was to become a profitable online bookstore. In second horizon, Amazon started to diversify their business by offering other product and service, like selling not only the books as it used to sell at the first, but all types of product that consumers need. It also give logistic service and service and so on. For the third horizon, Amazon has to improve the profitability in all those new e-commerce economics activities. Now the Amazon grew so much that the market capitalization capitalization exceeds to $1 trillion.
Now, I would like to add upon some examples of companies who adopted it in big companies. Fast food giant McDonald's was the front runner in adopting VUCA and VUCA Prime principles in its leadership development programs. The goals for this were to acknowledge VUCA skills and abilities, including self awareness, knowledge of business beyond functional areas, innovative and critical thinking skills, collaborations, and importance of rapid learning within the organization. Unilever, in addition to the economic value growth parameters, namely consistent, competitive, and profitable, recognize the need for growth in social value, and that too in a sustainable way. In 2010, they wanted to double the size of the business while reducing their carbon footprint and increasing their social impact. They consistently succeeded in the VUCA world by adopting the mantra of thinking local but acting global. Unilever tried to understand what local consumers and customers need or want. Then they leverage their global understanding, technology, and knowledge to provide the best solutions to meet these local needs.
That was indeed quite the first strategy that we had just our debate upon. I would like to actually add another topic to our discussion, and I actually named this as the second winning strategy, which is called network marketing. What exactly is network marketing? According to a Federal Trade Commission, it is any marketing program which participants pay money to program promoter, in return for which the participant obtain the rights to firstly recruit additional participants or to have additional participants placed by the promoter, secondly sell goods or services, and thirdly being receive payment or other compensation, provided that the payments received by each participant program are derived primarily from retail sales of goods, and the market program has institutes and enforces rules to ensure that it is not a plan which participants earn profits just by recruiting it. So why exactly does it matter? I'm sorry about that. Why exactly does it matter when you talk about it in the VUCA world out there? It is actually considered a legitimate business model according to World Federation of Direct Selling Association, and as cited by Prasan Saini, it is Network marketing is also the fastest growing business model in the 21st century. Let's take the current situation that we are facing for the COVID-19. For instance, this has no doubt affected each and every one of us at the personal level. However, even during this, has it really affected each and every business, though maybe not so much if you have an innovative company. An article from the Times newspaper posted in the year 2020, written by Abby Westloss and Eliana Doctorman, they highlight this main topic where even how the companies are growing in this pandemic. The main point illustrated was the network marketing or the multi-level marketing, as distributors are actually using the internet and coronavirus to grow their business. We can see that COVID-19 pandemic sends economy into its worst tailspin since the Great Depression. Some MLM distributors are encouraging new investors with promises of big money and the opportunity to work from home, seemingly ideal for people who are unemployed. Facebook posts promising jobs are easy to spot, and according to Curtis, yet again, the real profit is earned not by the sale of the product but by the sales of distributorship.
As my friend introduced you all to what network marketing really is, and I'd like to talk about its concept and how it is helpful for both SMEs and big companies. The concept of network marketing of a healthy legal type is used in some cases of equivalent to direct marketing. In this method, the producer sells its goods and services directly to its customers rather than through distribution agents with a high percentage of commission. Social network consists of powerful interpersonal communication such as friendship, kinship, long-term cooperation with members of other groups as companies based on social communication, which has been cited by Norbe and Sylvia in 2014 in Journal of Transitional Management. Baker et al. In 2013 in Global Business and Economic Review stated that the importance of social network strategy for small as well as big firms emit from the explosion of online social networks that allows information to be disseminated in different ways and shows ability to take the new direction. An additional significant benefit to small enterprises is that relatively inexpensive cost, sophisticated social networking strategy that connects the firm directly to the current and potential consumers. One of the example of direct marketing in big companies would be of Burger King trumpet with its Google Home of the Whopper campaign. It was the most awarded campaign in 2007. Business lines Google Home of the Whopper sought to promote the Whopper burger, so they used direct marketing campaign and launched a TV video ad on social media utilizing the Google Homes. This has been published in Sahinkawa in ResearchGate article in 2019.
Going against the network marketing. According to the article of Network Analysis in Marketing by Webster and Morrison, creating and fostering supplier and customer relationship, coordinating cross-functional links within an organization, knowing how competitors uh, are positioned within an industry, and understanding when and to what degree consumers make use of their personal and professional contacts are the fundamental issues in this field, that is network marketing. Complex issues such as collaboration, trust, power, and choice involve more than simple dyadic relationship. Most are embedded in networks of relationships. Many marketing studies interested in relationships, however, simply gather information on the characteristics of network members such as network size, that is number of strategic alliances, frequency of interaction, that is number of times a month information is sought from a personal source, or relationship type, example whether a strong or weak recommendation source is used. Therefore, such information is useful but limited in determining how the structure of a network affects the network members.
Talking about network marketing, it is not surprising that companies want to make a use of being able to access global market without having the expense that comes with expanding internationally. The thing is, In today's world, people are offended with the term network marketing and intend not to believe it. People that don't trust network marketing companies usually have been scammed in their past. Network marketing model like what Tourist Group and Young Lives uses is not a scam. Keller Kotler, author of Marketing Management, stated, "A person's emotional response to a brand and its marketing will depend only on many factors. One increasingly important factor is brand authenticity. Brands such as Hershey's, Kraft, Crayola, Kellogg's, and Johnson & Johnson that are seen as authentic and genuine can evoke trust, affection, and strong loyalty. Kotler's purpose in saying this is to show people will come alongside brand or specific people that are trusted. Having transparency in business practice creates brand authenticity. I would like to provide provide the example of some companies leading in terms of sales and growth through network marketing. According to a post released on VentaForce by Will Byers, the top three brands which are leading in network marketing, the MLM business are, one of them is NU Skin Enterprises, a leading US multi-level marketing company which distributes and sells dietary supplements and personal care products, operates mainly in North and South America with a network of 1.2 million independent marketers. Now it is known to be third fastest selling product selling company. The second one is the Avon. Avon product generates annual sale worth over $5 billion, becoming the world's fifth largest company in beauty care. Currently, Avon operates MLM front with over 6.4 million sales representatives. Due to its aggressive marketing strategy, it is dubbed to be the second fastest selling direct selling company in the world after Amway in terms of sales and growth. The top and none of the list is Market America. It lists the MLM competitive landscape by bringing in billion-dollar annual sales revenue from each of its operating markets. It operates in Australia, Singapore, China, Taiwan, Mexico, Spain, and Canada. It is also interesting to note that Market America backs the second spot in this list with the global sales just of 180,000 representatives.
As we have had in-depth discussion about our first and second winning strategy, I would like to introduce you all to our third winning strategy, which is sponsorship and advertisement. Sponsorship is a tool that is a part of communication mix with the ultimate aim to sell for both small as well as big enterprises. In this method, which is more subtle branding, the reputation of the company does not interfere with the participants or the consumers, but create a special relationship with apparel to the latter concise. Sponsorship allows targeted actions and helps a better position of the brand and its image. Sponsorship role is to customize and brand to define a given character to build and develop a brand image, which has been cited by Cable 2014 in ResearchGate article. Example can be of companies providing sponsorship to ITL for uplifting its brand image and to reach out to the people watching cricket of various age group, which would be Patanjali, Jio, Tata, Dream11, Samsung, DHFL, so on, which provides sponsorship. Castell in 2016 in SEC Journal article published that advertisement influences on firm sale and firm's value has drawn early attention from economists and accountants and more recent attention from marketers. Most studies have investigated a link between advertisement and sales. Advertisement and sales have a found link. However, studies that have investigated a link between advertisement and firm value only has found some of the link which is not as well verified. Meta-analysis has been failed to determine moderators that govern the link between advertisement and the firm value. It cannot build the brand equity for a cost leader because such a firm has no point of difference on what to build. Identifying differentiators and cost leaders on the basis of firm reaction to a change in the accounting regulations, the authors confirm hypothesis advertising is related to sales for all the firms, but it is more strongly related to firm value for differentiator than for cost leaders for both SMEs as well as big companies.
In contrast to what my friend said, for both SMEs and big companies regarding sponsorships and advertisements, as with all marketing strategies, there is no guarantee return on investment. However, we can take steps to ensure that we get what we consider to be appropriate exposure for our support. This is more than advisable, it is crucial, as otherwise it could end up with no benefits at all. An elementary drawback to sponsorship and advertisement is the transferal of control required of the brand name from the sponsoring company to the sponsored resource, and thus an uncertainty of irrational actions or negative publicity, which limits the visibility of SMEs and big companies. It is important to consider that the actions of any person, brand, events that SMEs and big companies sponsor will immediately be linked to the required person. Hopefully, we will have already ensured that whoever we sponsor remains responsible and professional, but sometimes we can run into problems as well. There are many examples of brand being tarnished by their sponsorship associations. One of the most notorious has been cyclist Lance Armstrong, who lost 8 sponsors and reportedly $75 million in one day.
The present world is changing at the speed that we have never witnessed before. Quarter of a century ago, no one would have believed that iPhone would change the way we interact with the world from very young children to elders. Today, technology offers more choices that we can easily keep up with. For example, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and so on. The pace of change is nothing like anything seen before. Today's turbulent business environment demands that individuals and organizations perform at a higher level and with greater speed than at any time in the past. Organizational leaders and employees alike must place a new emphasis on developing open and trust-based relationships that will lead towards the development of positive organizational climate and organizational success. The new VUCA is taxing even the most able of leaders who may find their skills growing as quickly as organizations change in this volatile, unpredictable landscape. Horney, Pashmore, and Oshia, the authors of Leader Agility, a business imperative for VUCA world, noted that to succeed, leaders must take continuous shift in people, process, technology, and structure. Leadership, agility, and ability are now required skills if organizations are succeed in a VUCA world.
Officially, SMEs are companies that employs less than 250 people. Actually, 99% employ less than 50. These are therefore very small companies running business often on a shoestring. They are attempting to market their product and services professionally, and yet they cannot afford professional help. But most of what they do is DIY marketing. According to the article of Dr. Stanford Lee of Japan, adoption of DIY marketing by SMEs and ads and sponsorship in VUCA world can further improve many aspects of business for SMEs. And some of the listed impacts are awareness, persuasion, attitude, and brand loyalty. Talking about the awareness, one of the important role of advertising is to create awareness of the product or services. Just as a brand name and price nowadays, due to intense competition, it is not just enough to create awareness, but top of the mind awareness is needed. A great example would be Unilever, as it has a broad portfolio, product portfolio, and launches various kinds of products every and each year. Advertising helps Unilever to aware its customer about the kind of product they are launching, its benefits and superiority, along with who needs it. Next one is persuasion. When business firms offer a similar product, the firm must not only inform the customer about the product availability, but also persuade them to buy through persuasive messages. The marketer try to provide reasons regarding the superiority of this product as compared to other available in the market. Moving on forward, the attitude. Promotion and sponsorship is required to build or reinforce attitude in the mind of target audience. The marketer expects the target audience to develop a favorable attitude towards their brand. Positive attitude toward the brand helps to increase its sales. Through promotional technique like advertising, the marketer can correct negative attitude toward the product, if any. Negative attitude can also be corrected through public relation and sponsorship. The final one is brand loyalty. Advertising helps to develop brand loyalty for both SMEs and big companies. Brand loyalty results in repeat purchase and favorable recommendation to others by existing customers. Sales promotion, effective personal selling, timely and efficient direct marketing, and other techniques help to develop brand loyalty.
The strategies we just went through are indeed good, but each of them can also be trouble for the companies, especially for the SMEs. As according to Kishore Kumar Das and after the finds that we are moving from a world of problems which demand speed, analysis, and uncertainty to solve to live in the world of dilemmas. And while business firms find success in this changing world, there are certain factors to be must noticed by them while especially when they adapt to especially for SMEs when they adapt to those strategies. Firstly, being the financial challenges, as lack of sufficient working capital is the lifeblood of any business, and it is the most important responsibility of any entrepreneur to have at least 6 months of expenses as working capital, which gives them enough breathing space to focus on acquiring new customers and building products. Finding too many on sales promotions, coupons, and markets just to stay afloat or afloat business resort to sales promotions each time a business runs slow. However, if sales are slow, offering excessive discounts might not be the answer as well. As consumer oriented sales promotions can drive short term sales to offset competitive pressure, yet threaten the long term survival of your brand. Price wars with come with high casualties, most notably reduced profit margins. Secondly, being the three horizons model itself, as the risk, according to an article written by Steve Plank in the year 2019, says that the model actually has a fatal blow in the 21st century. Initially articulated by Bagay Kohli and White in the 20th century, the three horizons was a simple way to explain senior management the need for an ambidextrous organization. However, the idea that companies and government agencies need to execute existing business mission models while simultaneously creating new capabilities. And in the 21st century, this model has a fatal flaw that could put companies out of business and government agencies behind their adversaries, while traditional analysis suggests that the model innovation takes years to develop in today's world, which is no longer the case, and it is actually also not bound by time itself.
As my friend talked about the risks of SMEs to adopt VUCA strategies, I'd like to talk about is advantages of why should really small enterprises adopt VUCA strategies. In rapid chains, business leaders are busy simply reacting to the mega trends and putting out fires. Considering how Uber is challenging the taxi industry, how Airbnb created a new market of 60% of its users, saying they wouldn't have traveled if it wasn't for Airbnb offer, how Ryanair and EasyJet broke the idea that new product must always be better and more, as cited by Kuzin 2018 in Academic of Strategic Management Journal. For SMEs to remain competitive and successful, they need to be innovative and adaptive to the market change. The ability of the firm to introduce new product and services, as well as adding value to the existing ones, are essentials for economic growth and development and driving forces for competitive success in the prevailing VUCA environment. If SMEs invest in innovation behavior, it strengthens their knowledge, which leads to organization resilience that improves firm competitiveness as well as achievement of performance goals. For SMEs to encourage internal innovation and the organization, they need to promote the mindset of looking outside of the box in order to opportunities to collaborate. For SMEs to encourage internal innovation in the organization, they need to promote the mindset of looking they need to promote the mindset of looking out of the box. They can be done through knowledge sharing, brainstorming ideas, and expanding from networks, which can improve their growth prospects.
Now I'm going to talk about how can a small business not just survive but succeed in VUCA world. It is not easy for a small business to survive in a VUCA world. The life of a small business is also shorter than the big company in VUCA world. But the small business can succeed in VUCA world by digitalizing tools, creating flexible work condition, eliminating the unnecessary process, and focusing on the customers. Digitalizing tools increase efficiency, low cost, and allow us to get the new business sector and opportunity. Sitting heritage system and old world office equipment not only can serve our money, but we can increase our efficiency, acuteness, and information intelligence. Flexible, flexible work can Flexible work condition can help reduce the stress of everyone and empower employees to create their own ideal working condition. Staying close to your customer and engaging with them can help you keep an ear to the ground and anticipate shit even before the market do. Everyone is trying to analyze and report to the customers, but a small business you we can leap up and personal advantage to stay of the curve.
Talking about the third strategy, would what my friends introduced, it has been really important for the companies to adopt ads and sponsorship as their winning strategy in this VUCA world. I would like to put forward some example of the big and small companies that run ads that had run ads previously and now is successful of that. Once Apple's Get a Mac ads campaign of being one of the most Get a Mac campaign ended up being one of the most successful campaign ever for Apple. The company experienced 42% of market share growth in its first year with it help. This commercial tells a Mac's audience everything they need to know about the product without being over and in a clever way. Another one is Nike. Nike created the Just Do It ad campaign and it was a hit. Nike product, uh, catered almost exclusively to marathon runners. Then a fitness craze emerged, and the folks in Nike marketing department knew they need to take advantage of it to surpass their main competitor, Reebok. At that time, Reebok was selling more shoes than Nike, and so in 1998, Nike sales were at $800 million. By 1998, sales exceeded by 9.2 billion. Just Do It was short and sweet, yet encapsulated everything people felt when they were exercising, and people still feel that feeling today. The last one is of small enterprises known as the Miller Brewing Company, known as Miller Coors, came up. The company came up with a ad campaign named as "Great Taste, Less Filling" in the light beer market. Back in the days, men were battling the common misconception that light beer is not for real and macho men and can never really taste good. The goal of the ad campaign, Great Taste, Less Filling campaign, was getting real men to drink light beer. Taking the debate head on, Miller featured a masculine model drinking their light beer and declaring it tastes great, and it was a hit again.
Winning in a VUCA world requires the ability to simultaneously manage both for short-term and long-term goals of a business. The is becoming more and more a global marketplace. Technology has been moving faster than it is before due to innovations beyond microprocessor power, such as touchscreen technology, cloud computing, broadband, social media, etc. Technology has clearly fueled and accelerated the VUCA world. Since the internet and the World Wide Web was invented in the 1980s by Sir Tim Berners-Lee, there has been a momentous shift in the development of new technology. With the fast pace of technological development, it is difficult to know what is coming next. The VUCA world not only affects the small businesses but also big companies. For example, Xerox was the first company to invent PC and their product was way ahead of its time. Unfortunately, the management thought going digital would be too expensive and they never bothered to exploit the opportunities they had. The CEO of Xerox was convinced that the future of Xerox was in copy machines. The digital communication products invented were not seen as something that could replace black marks on white paper. Likewise, Nokia was very good at making feature phones, but due to its slow adaptation to the technology, it could not compete with other brands and failed. Xerox and Nokia failed to understand that you cannot keep constantly making money on the same technology. Sometimes technology fails too. On the other hand, companies like Uber, Airbnb, and Google are examples of businesses that have experienced spectacular success due to advancement in technology. Uber, Google, and Airbnb all have one unique and fascinating common point. They don't own the end product nor carry the service that the customer purchases. They all focus on their resources on customer needs using virtual tools to grow globally. For example, Uber does not own any cars, Google and its subsidiary YouTube never produce media content, and Airbnb never invested a cent into hotel property.
Now I'd be talking about the differences between big and small companies that have adopted VUCA. Creating a successful new business is a tough job, especially when a new company has to compete against large, well established businesses. While small businesses and large businesses might operate in the same market, they have significant differences that can have a large effect on business operations. Small businesses not only differ in size from larger ones, but tends to have different legal structures, financing arrangements, and market niches. According to Georgi Hamal, 2019, another difference between small business and large companies is that small companies often focus on a niche market while larger companies tend to offer more products and services to a wider variety of consumers. A small company with only few employees might not be able to make enough money to survive by selling a single product or service in a very specific market. As company grows, they tend to branch out in new markets and offer new products and services to increase sales and hire new employees.
The VUCA world is being accepted by the big companies as today world is characterized as being VUCA. Because of the new and unpredictable environment, it is impossible to predict threat and opportunity at the same time. The potential for disruption is very high. When big company decided to accept the VUCA world, they choose to make themselves and the people less exposed, and they empowered everyone to deal with uncontrollable and unpredictable focus. In this new era, cracking the VUCA code is key for success. Organizations who leads are ill equipped to handle the VUCA environment will find themselves continuously falling behind, still struggling to keep up with the phase of change. Clean position, meet mind, and capitalized, capitalized coupled with deep understanding of a practice addressing your organization specific VUCA environment and are necessary for continuous success today and in future too. Today's the VUCA world represents volatility, uncertainty, complex and ambiguity world. Business leadership in the VUCA world require a unique set of capability with the ability to innovate rapid and adopt a new technology quickly.
Adding up to what my friend just said, I like to talk about some of the positive impact which has been made by VUCA in big organizations. Scholars ATAL in 2018 in California Management Review proposed a leadership model to succeed in a VUCA world based on the following characteristics: anticipation, challenge, entrepreneurship, interpretation, decision, alignment, learning. VUCA World help big companies to sell faster patterns, the need to explore, build for the future, that attributes of displaying curiosity like a child and foster curiosity among their consumers. It supports in making innovation and change fun while embracing a constant state of disequilibrium, preserving the goal and stimulating progress, building relationship, being resilient, and only reaching the initiative, imagination, and passion. VUCA helps big organization move from hierarchy to self-organization. Example of big company which succeeded adopting VUCA's strategy is Airbnb, which they have not only revolutionized the travel industry, they have one of the first startup unicorns to emerge in the mid 2000s and are illuminated on every level. From their business models and their map and research results to their referral engines and generally their outlook on everything or approach everything they do. They connect guests to hosts, make payments, handle security, and promote trust, instant booking, guest refund policies, and many more. In 2018, they turned over more than 1 billion in a single quarter, and their most recent stock sale valued them at USD 35 billion as per the Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Technology published by Gutenberg in 2019.
VUCA crises arise when a threat emerges from the uncertainty that directly impacts a firm's survival. Small business enterprises are more liable to a VUCA crisis in the marketplace than larger firms that possesses the ability to absorb more shock. As per Shires and Devine's book, Managing Uncertainty Strategies for Surviving and Thriving in Turbulent Times, agility and absorption are core approaches firms have traditionally adopted to survive the VUCA crisis. Large firms possess greater absorption capabilities with less agility due to their size, whereas small businesses, on the other hand, can exploit agility to compensate for their lack of absorption capabilities. In today's increasingly competitive world, small businesses can sometimes feel that they are at a disadvantage when it comes to getting ahead, but as small businesses are naturally agile, they have more competitive advantage against the big enterprises. Nevertheless, large firms are able to create clarity and a common understanding of the organization's mission, direction, and strategy. Small businesses have a lack of ambition to grow and may just give up if the VUCA crisis is harsh. Market VUCA can create strong anxiety and fear in the workforce, particularly in small businesses enterprises who are more exposed. On the other hand, big business define a strong vision that excites and challenges, which is based on a winning strategy or a big idea which is continuously propagated. Their strategies are more consistent and clear and are well thought out. The mission, vision, values, and operating philosophies are consistent with their strategies. They are able to balance long term focus and short term focus in order to safeguard the long term continuity of the business and its contribution to the world, and at the same time obtain short term results, which makes it possible to plan against the possible futures.
The risk, in fact, is actually not just faced by the bigger ones, and talking another risk, which is also faced by the smaller ones. I would like to say that there is the term known as black swan, which originates from the author of mitigation expert Nazim Nicholas Taleb, who wrote in a book referring to black swans in general, as it originates from the time when swans were actually discovered to be black as well rather than just white. Linking to this, author describes that in a business, black swan logic makes what you don't know far relevant than what you do know. Consider that many black swans can be caused and exacerbated by them being unexpected. In risk term, Talib mentions that how seemingly uncertain events which everyone thinks would not occur leave behind the maximum effect once they manifest, leading to shocks to the system that are simply not quantified in advance. Secondly, being the network marketing risk itself. No doubt that I started this and not exactly being a critic to what I said, but research from journal done by authors Strasser and Vivan say that if one has excellent sales and PR skills, you might be able to earn a lot, but selling is actually quite difficult if the product is new to the market. Secondly, society thinks that MLM business are easy to, and straight to the point. Perhaps a better way to perceive it is that it is easy to be enrolled in, but to achieve success in MLM business, one needs to invest time, energy, and money into it. Plus, great communication skills are definite surplus, and many businesses fail because the people who led do not have the required skills. Worse yet, they do not make the effort to acquire those skills and investments. Lastly, many people have this misconception that they can only make money by either selling the goods and services to their friends or family, or family members by recruiting them.
Now, adding to my friends, I'm going to tell about the negative impact of adopting VUCA world in the big companies. Big companies have less tolerance for the strategy or the business until that is not produced the result, and often quickly to outplace the employees for the poor performance and mislead value. One of the negative impact that a big company like Nigerian business is facing by the VUCA is that the Nigerian business operating environment presents a paradox in that the country has sufficient potential and abundant human and national resources, but yet the current reality is that as the VUCA state, the country is ailing and unable to utilize their resources fully. The, the manufacturing sector of Nigerian has not been since 2016, which is recorded as negative growth. Big business fell quickly in the current business leadership in the category of photography for nearly 125 years, the bankrupt sequentially. Such as dynamic and fast-changing world of today is being labeled as the VUCA world by many economists and politicians and politic observations. The business environment too volatile for Kodak to maintain. Dominant phone manufacturing company that started building digital camera within the mobile phone, and cloud service provided that offer user free space to store their photography.
Now, I'd like to talk about why big companies have advantages like scalability as well as assets and competencies they have. Big companies have major advantages like scalability, economy of scale, assets, competencies because they are well established and have greater access to funding. The importance of having the stability strategy by big companies is due to the organization focus on directing all resources in current business activities and to avoid risks associated with the expansion and growth of products and markets. It has these advantages as it helps in minimizing the effect of changing environment, consumer needs, and the difficulty in obtaining the necessary resource of technology. Big companies have the competitive advantages over smaller ones in the benefits they provide to their employees. Larger firms have the advantage in being able to offer larger wages and better jobs to employees than smaller companies. Talking about the advantages of economies of scale that big companies have, it's all because vendors and suppliers are much more likely to provide discounts to companies that purchase in large quantities. In fact, the greater the quantity, the steeper the discount, and because big companies typically sell it in high volume, they can undercut prices that small businesses offer. By by taking advantage of economies of scale, big companies are able to reduce the cost of doing business while also maximizing their profit margins. Taking an example of big American multinational retail corporation, Walmart has achieved economies of scale and has maintained a competitive advantage through its continual innovation. It was able to maintain its economic profit even though it has competition from other firms. It can continuously implemented various barriers to entry, and developed internal strategic assets as well.
Now, talking about the positive impact of VUCA on small companies, according to Hyken 2016, it helps small company in transforming from volatility to vision. Companies be able to communicate effectively, and this involves targeted communicating in absence of purpose and leading people towards a vision. They provide the direction and articulate the end game so that it is clear to all, transforming from uncertainty to understanding. Uh, the companies are not afraid to ask questions, clarify both of their team and customers. The leaders understand their team customers' motives, their hopes, fears, and desires. Uh, Companies develop an open mind both within corporate leaders and their team to explore new ideas, thus always seeking feedback to review and reflect on actions. Thirdly, from complexity to clarity. Leaders keep things simple, cut through complexity, and deal with core issues. They need to rely more on intuition, to trust gut instinct and experience to cancel out anything unnecessary. Leaders be communicating succinctly with structure and with reason. And lastly, from ambiguity to agility, company leaders be decisive and adapt quickly to changing circumstances and make decisions with confidence. They adapt, innovate, learn from mistakes, and continuously seek new ways to get better. The leaders need to empower their workers, cut out unnecessary bureaucratic processes, develop clear communication channels, and use collaboration and give teams possibilities to do a great work.
I would like to not completely agree with what my friend just said, and I'd like to talk about some of the negative impact of adopting VUCA by small enterprises, small and medium enterprises. As the world is fat, Thomas Friedman notes that the rate of change today is much different than that in the past. Whenever civilization has gone through one of these disruptive, dislocating technical revolutions like Gutenberg's introduction to printing press, the whole world has changed in profound ways. The faster and broader this transition to a new era, the more likely is the potential of disruption. To put it in another way, the experience of high-tech companies in the last few decades who failed to navigate the rapid change brought about in the marketplace by these types of forces may be warning to all small businesses, institutions, and nation states that are now facing this inevitable, unpredictable changes, but the lack of leadership, flexibility, imagination to adopt, not because they are not smart or aware, but because the speed of change is simply too overwhelming for them. Financial challenges are one of the most painful ones for entrepreneurs have to deal with while adopting VUCA world. As per Singwell in Journal of Business Management, which has been published in 2018, more than 60% of small businesses faced financial challenges in the past year, according to the 2016 Small Business Credit Survey. The survey, which was a collaboration of 12 federal reserve banks, provide as in-depth look at small business performance and debt. This report focuses on employees from or those with at least one full of past-time experience. When looking at the financial challenges of small businesses, the report covered the second half of 2015 to the second half of 2016.
The 2020 coronavirus pandemic has driven many changes that many of us have yet to fully understand and appreciate. It is one of the greatest challenges most business and individuals have faced, demanding sometimes painful adjustments. As history has shown time and again, global events like pandemics, global financial crisis, international trade disruption, and widespread civil disorder can arise at the most unpromising times, impacting business operations and throwing society into chaos virtually overnight. The word VUCA was previously used as a disreputable word, but since the coronavirus pandemic, the reality of VUCA has hit almost every business across the world. The VUCA world has been there before, but the pandemic has made faster changes and more volatile, harder to predict and more uncertain, more difficult to analyze and more complex, more challenging to interpret and more ambiguous. For example, Hoop is a small company that was created by a group of parents who wanted to take the hassle out of finding activities to do with their children. They developed a mobile app which connected families to events in their local areas, from dance classes to creative workshops and everything in between. The app was updated daily with 100,000 activities for children, including ratings and reviews, and online booking services. Hoop's aim was to help families spend less time planning and more time having fun. The app was used by over 1.5 million families and organizers in the UK. It was twice named as App of the Year by Apple in 2016 and 2017. Despite its early success, Whoop ran into difficulties in 2020. Like much of the leisure and entertainment sector, Whoop was affected by the pandemic. During lockdown, the company's activity booking became largely no longer in use. By April 2020, the impact of COVID-19 on the company was critical. Battling to survive, Whoop introduced a feature on its app known as offering online service for children, but it was not enough to cover company's losses. After a challenging few months, Whoop announced its closure in July 2020.
Mm, VUCA should actually not just be considered for the bigger ones, but also for the smaller ones as well. And as SMEs survive and scale and survive and thrive in the market, they must also be concerned about how to withstand a VUCA crisis impacting the firm's business model and value. As Savid Devin recently devised a framework in talking about uncertainty management, they talk about six major points. The firstly being strategic anticipation, as this talks about capability to determine the ability to implement strategy that is highly responsive to unpredictable and potentially volatile environments, such as by using just-in-time approach to strategy setting and risk-taking. Secondly, being navigational leadership, the capability to instill a collective sense where the organization is, and the confidence and optimism to move forward to uncertain future. Thirdly, being agility, the capability to move rapidly and flexibly in order to shape or adapt to threats. Fourth, being resilience, the capability to absorb and positively build on adversity, shocks, and setbacks. Fifth, being open collaboration, the capability to dissolve boundaries, forge links, and reach outside through partnerships and sharing ideas. And informative information to gain broader perspective. And finally, being sixth, being predictive learning, capability to sense, probe, and analyze previously hidden patterns or trends. And among all these of the six components, agility and absorption are the core approaches firms have traditionally adopted to survive in a market of VUCA crisis.
So now I'd like to add upon some examples of small companies that have adopted VUCA strategies. Many small business owners already have the essential ability to recognize and meet volatile, uncertain times. Successful business in a culture of change means developing readiness and confident leadership in the face of continually changing circumstance. And with technology connecting everything and everyone with infinite possibilities and unending access, it seems we now live in a continuous world of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Even more challenging, all these forces are working collectively to create a historic and disruptive tug of war between opportunity and chaos. Example would be Britain's Oak North, a banking startup that specializes in providing business and property loans, is leveraging new technology and data streams and to drastically shake up the way banks lend money to SMEs. Using big data and machine learning to access the risks and monitor its portfolio, the company has enabled its subsidiary Oak North Bank in the UK became a fast growing bank in the country, lending several billion pounds to hundreds of lower mid-market businesses since its launch, and there hasn't been a single default or late payment in it.
As my friend provided an example of the small enterprises which has adopted VUCA strategies, I'd really like to highlight some of the companies who started small in garage and now are ruling the world with their innovative ideas and by adopting VUCA. One of them is Apple. It's the most valuable brand today, so it's often surprising when people learn that Apple first computer was built in a small garage in California. Apple's one of their first big orders was from a local retailer who ordered 50 computers at a dollar of 500 a piece, which they were able to produce in 30 days. And now Apple is ruling the world with its technical production. Second one be of Amazon. As per Hannah ITL in 2018 Journal of Process Management, New Technology, Jeff Bezos quit his job and moved to Seattle to pursue what he believed to be untapped in online retailing opportunities in the book industry. He set up a shop in his garage in Washington and began developing software. Amazon sold first book from his garage startup. 2 years later, he issued an IPO, and now company is the world largest online retailer. Third would be of Google. Larry Page and Sergey Brin met at Stanford in 1990s and decided they wanted to start up a company together. 2 years later, the partners established Google headquarters in Susan, Washington's 2,000-foot Melon Park garage for $700 per month. At that time, Wozniacki, who had held a senior vice president position in Google until January 2014, was a recent business school graduate and rented out her garage to the Google guys in order to make their mortgage payment. And now Google is what helps us in every situation, which has been cited by Trend 2017 International Journal of Corporate Social Responsibility.
Now I'm adding the negative impact of adopting the VUCA world with the small companies. The small companies is the negative impact of adopting the VUCA with a small company is that the company have lack of VUCA willingness, that it may cause corporate managers to suffer from increasing stress and mental health issue, and organization to perform poorly due to the unpredictable confusion, complexity, and confusion presence in the operating environment. In today's world, business world, many big companies are launching new product, and a negative impact for the small company can be not being able to launch the new product, or launching a new product and not understanding how it the market and your consumers base due to the lack of knowledge. VUCA world was the greatest challenge facing for the small companies in this century, and unfortunately the research exposed that only 15% of the small company were capable of leading in a VUCA world. The side effects of the side effects caused by the VUCA negatively affect social change efforts, leading authority to the need to bonder leaders understanding on the way to manage VUCA. One negative impact is that the life of SMEs is definitely less than the big companies in the VUCA world. Small business owners does not have an easy job in running their business, which when dealing with the present economics environment, which is offer effect to as VUCA. Therefore, a small business owner need to develop strategy to use in their business to efficiently operate within a VUCA world.
We live and operate in a culture of change. A company may face unexpected challenges or unstable situations and may not know how long these conditions will last. For this, a business must prepare its financial management, as it can be critical in determining factored factor in a continued process. Generally, to survive and thrive in a VUCA environment, a business manager must stay informed within the business and understand company's financial situation to handle any challenges that arise. Moreover, as the world changes, consumers are changing. There is an emerging poor in the developed world and an emerging wealthy in a developing world. the way people shop and consume is also changing. More than ever, businesses must have an insight into the changing needs and aspiration of their consumers to be successful. Today, every organization, regardless big or small, is experiencing high dynamics of change in the environment. Such nature of the environment through the uncertainty it creates can be on one hand considered as a threat, but on the other hand, it opens a specific possibilities. It depends on a given business entity whether it will take advantage of these possibilities and through mature responding, analyzing signals and information coming from the environment will build throughout response strategies to risk and thus indirectly strengthen its competitive position. All businesses must take risks to survive, yet at the same time, all businesses must avoid risk in order to survive. Calibrating the perfect approach to risk is tough to get right. In a world that feels increasingly unpredictable and uncertain, the new objective of a business strategy must be to understand how to constantly evolve competitive advantage. Agility is a critical skill for any leader, enabling them to react quickly and with adaptive leadership action in order to successfully address real-time challenges. And the new challenges of 2020 have only amplified this need. Winning in a VUCA world requires the ability to simultaneously manage both the short-term and long-term goals of a business. In turbulent and fast-changing times, businesses need to be anchored in a long-term destination while also dynamically managing the short term. Big companies with truly agile leadership are able to take more risks not only because they have more diverse inclusive risk scanning capabilities, but also because they can quickly flex their position if the decisions they made turn out to be wrong. They are able to learn from those mistakes and move forward. When combined with an agile mindset, risk taking then becomes a learning strategy in its own right.
We are living in a world of great contradiction. On the one hand, the world is witnessing exciting development in technology, innovation, global governance, and progress in important aspects of human development. On the other hand, we are witnessing a host of challenges from VUCA to growing inequality, ongoing conflict, and a growing set of urgent environmental issues. The pace of cultural and technological change, coupled with growing inequality along with a sense of dislocation and increasing vulnerability, has created serious and unpredictable business world. Both SMEs and big companies are compulsorily bound to innovate in order to thrive in world of VUCA. Now, I would like to put forward some of forward both the positive and negative impact of being SMEs as well as big company in VUCA world. Firstly, positive side of for SMEs and negative side for the company would be because of SME size and simpler structure, they have a greater capacity to adapt to changes. In addition, it will help them to be closer to their customer, which will allow them to know the variation in the market before anyone else. An SME will have a greater capability to detect and satisfy a very specific need of its customer than a large company may or may not detect, or will not have an interest in covering by being a bit too small for it. Secondly, the positive side for a big company and negative side for SMEs would be the task of reaching its customer can be very hard for an SME. The financial power of large companies allows them to make themselves known through mass media by advertisement. But for small and medium companies, reaching a significant number of customers can be a task that requires years of effort. In addition, being less well known than its larger competitors, SMEs may find it more difficult to convey to their customer the security that a large company can offer them. Thank you.
Now, talking about how small companies can improve after developing VUCA, according to the article of How VUCA is Reshaping the Business Environment published in Forbes magazine at 2018, it helps in moving from hierarchy to self organization by pushing decisions down to the edge of the organization where information is the freshest and most salient. Moving from protecting information to of information by empowering employees to make decisions, making communication frictionless via conducting weekly all hand meetings. Thirdly, speeding up interactions by accelerating the speed of interaction as much as possible. In the VUCA age, speed matters more than perfection. And fourthly, using the simple rules to make quick decisions rather than perfect analysis. By applying some of these points can simply improve the development of SMEs even after developing VUCA.
Now, I'd like to conclude on one of the discussion we have been making, which is whether VUCA is for small, medium enterprises or for big companies. VUCA helps both big as well as small enterprises make decisions and problem solve looking forward to the future. If a leader knows there is uncertainty in the market, they can mold their decision making and risk avoidance to protect the organization. VUCA helps the business counter volatility with vision. It creates a compelling vision values for the members of the organization, whether it's for a small or huge amount of people. VUCA also prepares the small businesses to meet with uncertainty with understanding and helps the big businesses react to complexity and clarity. I'd like to provide an example of company which had to disappear because of not adopting VUCA, which would be BlackBerry, a line of smartphones and tablets, which was massive success in 1998 with its ARS keyboard, but had to disappear because of not adopting VUCA and remaining with its existing ARS keyboard. This shows that how much big of a company you are and have ruled for years. If you cannot adopt VUCA, then you have to disappear from the market, which has been cited by Daily 2014 in European Journal of Information System.
Short, to conclude this, I'd like to say that one of the success factors for leading and developing winning strategies in VUCA world for SMEs and big companies is the competency to anticipate, sense, and respond to changes, which implies that leaders are ready to modify with shifting circumstances and defining winning parameters in agile and innovative ways in both the short term and long term goals of a business. Thus, responses to VUCA events are hidden at the junction of organization and reality for both SMEs and big companies. The very strength of any strategy is not its strictness and consistency, but its ability to effectively use opportunities and to act accurately in the face of uncertainty.
So the debate actually started, or which started on the topic of developing winning strategies in VUCA. To recapitulate once again, it started with a short history of business and the industrial growth up to 21st century of today to learning how VUCA has created opportunities for SMEs and startups. Along the way has been discussed about total of three winning strategies, firstly being three horizons, secondly being network marketing and thirdly being the sponsorships and advertisements. The strategies has been discussed critically by explaining and later comparing it with the smaller firms. However, contrasting of the strategies has also been done with research articles along with company examples. The learning outcomes has been plenty, and one thing that we can analyze for sure is that the VUCA world is not just going to disappear. The challenges faced are many for both companies, and the best way to survive might actually be staying best informed about external market and the company's financial situations. Differences faced are many as well, and despite many hurdles being faced by the faced by faced and the actions taken by bigger firms, research has been illustrated well to define how companies can grow after utilizing and winning strategies such as being resilient, open to collaborations, handling financial situations, and making strategic anticipations. Mm, Undoubtedly, VUCA has been shaping the world of business, and the question of whether VUCA being big, small, or for both in this age, speed is to add up. In this age, the speed is this age speed to add up to external environment matters more than actually having perfections. Thank you.
Hello. So a very good discussion that we had on the winning strategies, the similarities and differences for the SME and big companies. Yes, you have talked about a lot of things. You started with how VUCA will create the opportunities for the SME and big companies, what the big data, disruptive innovation, also winning strategies as well, three horizon model, great examples of Amazon, Unilever, Xerox, Airbnb, and Apple, and many other companies. You talked about the network marketing, the advantage of uh, sorry, SME or big companies adopting the strategies in VUCA world. Okay, so and also the positive impact and the negative impact as well. So yes, the analysis part is very good as usual. As usual. So uh, thanks for uh, thanks for being or thanks for analyzing the case and being so serious for this case. I'm just concerned with first uh, reading from the screen. Most of some of you are reading from the screen. Please avoid it. Please let it be like a debate. Yes, you have enough content. I know that. So have it and discuss it rather than just read from it. Okay? So that is the main concern that I have. Other than that, the analysis is very good. The contents you have, the example, the sources you have present, it is very good. And also keep track of the timing. So we had to conclude in 1 hour. So 10 15 minutes is okay, but we have taken more than 1 hour 30 minutes. So please. That's the thing. Do not read from the screen. Let it be like a debate rather than the presentation, and keep track of timing. Otherwise, a very good effort by the group. Thank you. Congratulations for successfully completing this topic. Then now we'll start discussing on the third topic for the start. Thank you very much. Mm, thank you very much for conducting this debate. So I'm ending the recording for now. Thank you so much.